Warning. This program contains strong language, auditory violence, and mental nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to your uncensored home for World of Warcraft news and opinions. This is Unshackled Fury.
The summer vibes are in full effect. It's time to check back in as the ghosts of an ethereal plane are threatening us with a good time. So welcome back for episode 166 of your uncensored home, World of Warcraft news and opinions, Unshackled Fury. I'm your host, Berserker. Mr. Corden is, I think, stuck on a train somewhere. And on today's show, we're talking all about patch 11.2, Ghosts of Koresh. Fantastic name. Fantastic name. Among other things, we've got a few other items to talk about, but obviously that is the big one that is on everybody's mind as we are coming up on the release, which we'll talk about in a minute. This is the sort of return show, having just had a bit of a summer break, and it's funny because it feels like never really went away with everything that's been going on our little home away from home on Azeroth. I've put in a crazy amount of time recently. I've probably had more time in game in the last month than I've had in a very long time, and I'll get to the reason why here in just a few minutes. But originally, for this week's metal album of the week, it was just going to be kind of a quick artist tribute, let's say, with on July 5th, the Back to the Beginning music festival. Practically, I know it was a big long concert, but it was a tribute to Ozzy Osbourne, lead singer of the progenitor of all metal, Black Sabbath, and of course a lengthy solo career. And it was a big celebration. You know, he's had a lot of health issues in recent years, and he wanted to put a final stamp on his career to get one more opportunity to perform for the folks, perform for the fans. And they got that opportunity to party with Ozzy one more time back in his hometown in Birmingham, England, where Jez is hailing from this area. So, you know, we got a little bit of a connection there, and it was awesome. They had so many bands that came out, you know, Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Alice in Chains, like all these big bands, Slayer. And it was an awesome tribute to somebody who's put so much into the world, not just the music scene or metal. You know, changed the face of television with the Osbournes, the reality TV show back in 2001, and everything that kind of followed after that. And so it was a great opportunity to see Ozzy and hear him one last time. And yeah, he wasn't at his best, you know, 76 years old and then failing health, but hey, wanted to put that one more stamp on it. So because of that, I was already going to be talking about Ozzy and how awesome that was to be able to have a final send-off. And then through whatever crazy cosmic happenstance occurred 5 days ago, he passed away. And it's very, very rare that any singer, artist, especially in the rock world, gets to go out really with one big final show, final concert, whatever you want to call it. But he got to do it, and sort of the poignancy of that moment is only increased thousandfold. I'm going to see it's funny. It's a cover band technically. Zach Sabbath. His guitarist Zach Wild has a Black Sabbath cover band, which I've talked about. I'm going to be going on. I think it's November 1st in Sacramento. We've got a show, a Zach Sabbath show, and going with the homie Rommel and the little Zerker. So the three of us are going to go hang out there, and then just sort of the meaning, how meaningful that show will be now. It's just, it's increased so many fold now. It's hard to really put kind of a final stamp or a period on the life of Ozzy and what he means to me and metal. And going to Ozfest in 2002 was the first time I'd ever been, and it was there that I really discovered who like Zach Wild was and who Black Label Society was, and the tendrils of that time and that day, that specific day in Mountain View at Shoreline Amphitheater in late August of 2002. How that's affected so many things in my life. My nom de plume, which any of you listen to this know me as Berserker. That's straight out of being a Black Label Society fan, and the many ways in which Ozzy has influenced my life is hard to quantify. For 5 days now, I've woken up every morning with one of his songs stuck in my head. It's funny how your brain works. Here in our little space in World of Warcraft, right? He did an advertisement, and he was the undead warlock and Prince of Darkness and all that. So even he touched on our little World of Warcraft area, and it was so cool to see him all those years ago when that happened. I want to say it was probably like 2009-ish. He touched on everything, and the arc of this man, where once he'd been part of the satanic panic in the 80s and had bitten off the head of, well, it might have been a bat, it might have been a dove, it might have been real. It's kind of one of those legends where you're not quite sure exactly what happened. But he spoke for everyone. No matter where you are in life, no matter how you feel about things, he, I think, spoke to every person. Even down to the very end, he was afraid that people were going to somehow forget him, which is impossible. And in a way, I wish he knew how big the reaction to his death was going to be in every friggin' act. Whether it's not even metal bands, it's just any musician that is out there somewhere, and even others that are not even on the road, they're making excuses to do some sort of tribute to him. It's astonishing to see what people have put together for Ozzy, and it really is well earned and well deserved. And I don't get too emotional over celebrity deaths. It's not really my jam, but this one got me. And I'll be honest, I'm still kind of processing it. It's weird. I've not really experienced something like this, but somebody that's always been there, someone that's been part of so many different aspects of my life and at different times of my life, and it really is one of the people and influences that's been pervasive throughout my 40 plus years of life. So gonna miss the guy, and that's putting it mildly. So I wanted to give an album recommendation if I could. Not the most popular one. In fact, probably one of the least popular. But it came at a time that, I don't know, just the album hit right. And if you listen to it now, I think Ozzy was speaking to a lot of things that today are maybe more true and more dire than ever before. So from 2001, the Down to Earth album. And it was the last one that Zach was on for a number of years, but it's also the only album that had Rob Trujillo, who eventually went on not just a year or two later to Metallica. I think he joined them in 2003. So it's kind of cool where you've got Ozzy, you've got Rob Trujillo, long time, the longest serving now bassist in Metallica, Zach, who's the man, and you also had Mike Borden of Faith No More playing drums. So a fantastic lineup on this album, and it didn't get a lot of love, but it gets me through. Probably one of the most well-known songs off that album, Dreamer being the other one. I saw a lot of videos playing that song after Ozzy had died, and that is definitely one that I have woken up with in my head at least a couple times now, and speaks a lot about his evolution of his own life and some societal issues that he sees in other songs that maybe could be addressed. So Ozzy, love you, thank you for everything, and there will if there's another one like him, it won't be any time soon. All right, enough of that fun business. Let's get on to a rage segment, because I know there's at least one other brother from another mother who's feeling the same rage I am about this one. Maybe. Let's get into it. Let's rage. I'm going to talk a little later about what I've been spending all my time on this last month in the World of Warcraft. And I think some of you might know what it is based on what I'm going to say, but there has been an event that's been happening recently, and what it's been providing us as players is some incentivized reasons to go run old content. And one of those is getting way more attention than the other. There's sort of two halves of this. One half might be related to some things that you ride around on. That's one. The other is the fact that all raid bosses, from anything that's kind of like Shadowlands prior, you're getting double the drops, like increased drops. Like just the amount of gear that drops from these bosses has increased. I believe it's 100%. So you're getting twice as much stuff. So not only are you getting better chances at little righty things, you're also getting better chance to collect gear that maybe you still need to round out your transmog, which I know I do. And there's one piece in particular, one piece of transmog. Well, I mean, there's a couple, but there's one in particular that's been the apple of my eye for a long, long time. And it's one that I, among others of dungeons that I've run a bunch of times, or raids I've run a bunch of times, this is one raid, and I'm glad they made us skip to the end, because over and over and over and over and over, I have gone to task with one Garrosh Hellscream with the Tusks of Manaroth. Big, huge shoulders, right? The tusks. As a warrior, you're like, yes, this is something that I absolutely have to have. And they have eluded me time after time after time after time. And so with this event happening all of July, I have been running tunes through there like crazy. Okay, Berserker running through. Boom. All right. Didn't get it? Cool. Let's get the Paladin through. Did he get it? No. Let's get the Death Knight through. Boom. Did he get it? No. Let's grab the Druid. Druid, run in there. Did you get it? No. Okay. Run in there. Who we got left? I think we got a Drakthir that's still stuck somewhere and can't actually hearth anywhere. Okay, let's get his ass over here anyway. Get him over here. Drakthir, did you get it? No. Even after a month and running through every tune I possibly could to get through it, these tusks are still not mine. Did I get other things? Yes. Did I get some things that I've been waiting for a long time? Yes. Is this maybe an item that could be a little bit more for the Horde? Yes. Still, I'm a warrior. I gotta have them. And if you've been running this thing as long as I have, which is now like, I don't know, 10, 12 years, maybe, oh my God, longer. Is it like, yeah, it's like 12 years, 13 years, 12 years, 10 years. I don't know, double digits. I am still waiting. I have exhausted all my runs. And so now it's going to be back to just however many pieces of loot we get off of Mythic Garrosh. And, did I get them out? Yeah, I did. But where are those shoulders? I don't believe they exist. I'm in the conspiratorial group where I think it's just something that they put in there to tease you. It's not happening. So hopefully they have learned that this event is very popular and they'll do it again sometime. I really hope they do. And then maybe, just maybe, I'll get my chance. But for now, God damn it, Garrosh, one day it will be mine. Oh yes, it will be mine. Until then, we got some big news, big news, lots of big news, tons of big news. Let's get into it. So right after we went on a little bit of a summer break, Blizzard does what they are typically want to do and dropped big, huge news when it was too late for me to report on them and gonna have to wait till we got back, which is fine. So, rewind the clock a little bit. We are currently on patch 11.1.7, which will largely, like 0.5, probably be forgotten if it's not been already. The Dastardly Duos thing was a complete dud. I don't even know what to say about that. It was just this little half quarter patch, whatever this is, sub patch, it just was not, wasn't it, chat? This wasn't it. But we did talk about sort of the timing, how we think things are going to lay out now over the next 6 months or so. And originally I thought 11.2 end of August, expansion reveal September, 11.25 October, 11.27 December before they go on break, and then maybe get the housing in there before the end of the year. Happy to be wrong, because patch 11.2, Ghosts of Koresh, what a badass name, coming live August 5th. So this is coming out on the what is this, the 28th, that Monday. So it'll be next week. You got 1 week left to prepare, and we are getting a whole bunch of shit that you would expect from a big old patch and a final big patch. We know that this is the last major content of the War Within. So brief overview, and then I'll kind of dive into each item separately. New zone, Koresh, the shattered remains of the ethereal homeworld. I think we kind of saw a lot of this stuff coming. New story and quests, new raid, the Manaforge Omega raid. Season 3, of course, will be starting amongst all this. Going to be a new artifact, the Reshi Wraps, which is a cloak, which will also allow phase diving. Let's talk about that. There's something called Ecological Succession, which looks like a fun ongoing time sink if you're into, I don't know, the farm. I guess back in Pandaria, which is current topic, I guess. If you're enjoying Mists of Pandaria Classic, good for you. A new dungeon, Ecodome Aldani. If you recall, back in Netherstorm, they had these big ecodomes. It's going to be something like that, and we'll have something like that also with the ecological succession thing. A new delve, some related updates, and Tazavesh getting a hard mode, and Tazavesh going to play a big role here. So yes, a new zone, going to Koresh, shattered homeworld, the ethereals. We've been wondering about this for a while. We saw a cinematic where this thief had stolen the Dark Heart. Remember the Dark Heart? Busted it open. We had seen this sort of image of something, and a lot of guesses as to what that would be. And, you know, I think people have been kind of guessing for quite a while now that this is where we would end up. So not a terrible surprise. But the lore that's going to be employed in this patch is pretty big. I seen some spoilers already. I won't get into them just yet. There's plenty of videos out there if you want to see some for yourself. But, you know, I think we are where we figured we would be. And so the question becomes, what are we doing when we get there? Well, this will be the end of the War Within campaign. So this will be, you know, the last that we do leading into midnight. And they've been pretty vocal about the fact that this is part of a trilogy. So we are going to see more of a lead in from this expansion into the next, and then presumably into the one after Last Titan. So whatever we do here, it probably is going to feel like some sort of a cliffhanger, or it's leading into something. And that's, I think, to be expected. we're going to be working with Alaria and Locust Walker to stop Dimensius. Jez and I had talked about some time ago about Dimensius. I couldn't even recall who that was. I thought Dimensius was brand new. Turns out there was a little thing in Netherstorm where you fought like an echo of it, that sort of thing. And there's the new thing that you can do with Lore Walker Cho, the lore walking, where you can go and experience certain things. There are 3 paths that you can go on. One, which was the Lich King stuff, fun. One was the ethereal stuff, cool. And in that one, you know, you learn what to do. There's a 3rd one, and I've already forgotten it, so good on me. But that's where they kind of get you up to speed on Dimensius and what he's been doing. So first it was little Dimensius, I guess, and now we've got something much larger, which I'll get to in a minute. But they've already shown us, Blizzard, a little in-game cinematic about one other ally that we're going to have. And lo and behold, as her feet descended into frame, because they know exactly what they're doing now, Xal'atath is on our team. And we are going to be joining up with her as we fight to stop the, I guess, resurrection or reemergence of Dimensius. And I gotta say, this is surely a joyous experience or a joyous occasion for many who were hoping to make her their Naifu permanently, and hopefully she's on our side. And I don't know, maybe take some of the edge off. Maybe she's not exciting enough now that she's with us. I don't know. Ask the weirdos. I'm sure there's something on Reddit. But it does throw an interesting wrench into what felt to me like what was the original design, that we were going to be fighting Xal'atath the whole way. And now, well, we're not. Now Xal'atath is going to be on our side and helping us to stop Dimensius from coming out. I know somewhat why this is happening, so I want to be a little bit careful about what I say. The lore that's dropping in this patch is nuts. They definitely are doing some things and did some things, and things are going to happen that I wouldn't have guessed in a million years. So good on Blizzard for throwing us for a loop. But I like it. I dig it. Let's do it. Her model in these in-game cinematics is crazy good. There's just all these little, they're getting so much better at in these little in-game ones. The little movements, the little just kind of little inflections, little body movements, body positioning, body language, you know, whatever you want to call it. There's all this little stuff that keeps happening as they make these better all the time. And the one that they released where Alaria being sort of our voice in this going, what in the good goddamn are we doing teaming up with her? This is crazy. And Locust Walker's like, hey, trust me. You don't have to trust her, but you gotta trust me. I don't know if I trust him. It's the Void, man. Crazy. So we'll be working with them to do that. And one of the places that we will be going, or hanging out at, in Koresh, because it's sort of like Outland. It's a busted up piece of rock that has, you know, different areas that you can go to. It's not terribly big, but they have something that kind of helps with that, which I'll get to. But the brokers brought over Tazavesh, the Veiled Market. You recall that sucker, that dungeon that I only just literally did, I don't know, 90 minutes ago for the first time. Yes, I know, I'm bad. I did get the unlock, but I never did it. I never actually ran the dungeon, but with, you know, its impending place in our story, I had to go check it out, and I gotta say, it's a good choice. I just kind of wandered around there. It's nice, you know, at you know, max level now. It's pretty easy just to wander around. If somebody fucks with you, just kill them. But it's kind of fun just walking around and seeing this place. And it is a legit city. And my first time really walking through and seeing it, I can see why we would use this as a spot. And it's super cool. I think that's a great choice. I'm not tired of it because I'm not running Mythic Dungeons through it or did anything before. So it's all brand new kind of to me. So I'm happy to see it. And I think that that's a great hub for us. Apparently, there's going to be portals to every delve in Tazavesh. So that is great. So if you didn't get the toy from this season that drops you off at one, that is a fantastic little reason to hang out in Tazavesh. So that will be our kind of our hangout spot. What else are we getting? Well, I mentioned there's going to be a new raid. Talk about that new raid. Mana Forge Omega, also just a fucking great name. That's going to go live on August 12th. So August 12th, a week after the patch comes out. This is pretty standard stuff for us in terms of schedules and all that sort of thing. So it's on Koresh. It's 8 bosses, max level. There's going to be Raid Finder, normal, heroic, mythic, usual stuff. Raid Finder minimum eye level 651. So, if you're like me and you've been doing delves, and you should be, fairly all right. Raid schedule unlock for the first week will be normal, heroic, mythic, and LFR Wing 1. August 19th, we get story mode. Yes. So for those of us that maybe aren't raiding anymore, you get to still see the end of this thing. Well, sort of the end. Get to that. Raid Finder Wing 2, and then August 26th, Wing 3. So Mana Forge Omega is like this big facility that is being built to harness energy, this sort of, mana and this sort of, ethereal energy. And the plan here is to use the Dark Heart, channel all this energy, and resurrect Dimensius, if I understand all of this correctly. And so the bosses we're going to be fighting are as follows. We got Plexus Sentinel. These names, the naming conventions here just continue to be fantastic. Big piece of void machinery. It looks like a big sentinel kind of thing. We'll have to kill him. Lumithar, which I believe is like a giant moth, one of these biodome looking things. Soulbinder Nazindri, another one of these big void locust walker looking dudes. Forge Weaver Araz, one of these big sort of void elemental type deals. The Soul Hunters, 3 demon hunters it looks like. Fractilus, a giant, like it's like a big rock elemental, craggy looking motherfucker. Nexus King Salhadar, so more of these crazy voidy boys. And then at the end, Dimensius. We're gonna fight Dimensius, and the way that this has been described to us is that he is the size of Stormwind. I'm not sure how that works. Probably some flying around or portaling around or doing something. But if that is a final boss, well, you're definitely going big. You're definitely going big. So those are the 8 bosses that you're going to be fighting. There are some rewards for, your typical mythic runs. And I think there's ahead of the curve, a couple mounts, voidy looking dragons. There are going to be some new armor sets. Opinions will vary, but I think that the warrior set, phenomenal. Depends a little bit on the coloring because there's different versions, and I guess I could run LFR and I'll get the others through not Mythic, but Mythic is actually the one I like least. Hot pink, not entirely my jam, but I do like the big spiky shoulders and accoutrement, the gloves and the boots all have this very heavy, spiky, tanky looking thing. But the helmet, now, I don't know if they did this on purpose. I don't know how they couldn't. But the helmet almost looks like a cross between Optimus Prime and the Shredder. Look at that helmet and tell me that somebody hasn't either been watching a lot of Ninja Turtles, a lot of Transformers, or both. And I love it. Fucking love it. So, I think Warriors made out okay. Opinions will vary. I think the Shaman looks pretty cool. The headpiece on that, pretty rad. Evoker, you poor bastards. I wish you luck. Mage, Monk, Priest, one's looking all right. Priest, you're going to get a good one here. Hunter, meh. Death Knight, I actually think we got a better one than the Death Knight, and that is very rare. Warlock, you probably got the best one. This is all your jam. Just voidy evil shit. Like, this one looks amazing. Rogue, it's okay. Paladin looks phenomenal. Paladin, A+, well done. Demon Hunter's okay. And Druid, meh, But outside of Warrior, Warlocks, you probably won. Paladins, you're close. But I think we got you. So, new armor sets coming. And if you raid, have fun with your new Renown track. Didn't get to see a lot of that in the Palace with Gallywix, but I guess I'll probably see this again with the, similar to the Loyalty Rewards Club. You're going to get a new Renown track called Mana Forged Vandals. So you're going to be hanging out with those folks. But that is essentially your final raid. 8 bosses. Again, to me, it's kind of short. I've probably got, weaned on the wrong raids where if it's not like a 12 person or 12 boss raid, I'm like, it's like a big dungeon. I need double-digit boss count at least. Russ is not really the biggest, but maybe if you have a boss size, a boss the size of a city, maybe that works out. So that's your Mana Forge Omega in a nutshell. And what's kind of crazy about this patch is that on top of the raid, we're also getting a new dungeon called Ecodome Aldani, which is one of these big, biodome looking things I mentioned earlier and we've seen before. But as far as the story goes, the dungeon takes place after the raid. I'm not entirely sure how that works, considering that I believe the dungeon is available week 1. So whatever takes place in the raid, well, I guess you don't necessarily need to know entirely. So this will be a first, and I'm sure they're watching very closely to see how people kind of take to that order, because it typically has been for us, right? We level or we do our questing, and we either do a dungeon close to the end or somewhere in that questing chain, and then the raid is like the culmination to everything. Well, this time it's going to be a little bit different. The raid will no longer be the culmination, so maybe that's something that we do a little bit differently. I believe that the dungeon has 3 bosses, and you're looking at typical normal, heroic, mythic difficulty. Normal starts at item level 639, heroic 665, and mythic 681 plus. And your 3 bosses will be Azakar, looks like a giant blue worm, cool. Tabat and Waj, you're looking at one of these ethereals, and he's riding a giant lizard. And Soul Scribe, another one of these wizard ethereal looking dudes. And I wish you luck in all of those endeavors, but kind of an interesting choice for them to do it a little in reverse. So we'll have to check that out and see how that story progresses in that way. And while we are doing these things, as I mentioned before, we have a new artifact coming, and I can already hear the collective groaning and having another upgradable artifact. They've fallen out of fashion and people don't really like them, but this one comes with a little bit of a twist, and we'll see. Again, I like the experimentation. We'll see where it goes, and I think it probably helps them in terms of development, and we'll see why. We'll have this new artifact called Reshi Wraps. The Reshi Wraps, it's this cloak. It's all, very ethereal looking. And through our, I think, initial questing into 11.2, we'll be building this artifact cloak, and for all I know, somebody with some feet is going to be helping us put this thing together. But it's not only upgradable and something, I think it's like item level 701 or something like that. It's upgradable. You'll be able to, I think, pick secondary stats on it. It's going to do something, or it's going to allow us to do something called phase diving. And what phase diving essentially is however we flip that on, we get phased into an alternate version of Koresh. And so kind of what I was mentioning earlier about, yes, the land may be a little bit smaller, but with phase diving, it's kind of doubled itself. Because whenever you're outdoors, it's different treasures, different little bosses you're gonna fight, different mobs, all of that stuff. So it's an alternate version of Koresh. So it's kind of like, I thought of it kind of like what the Emerald Dream was to Azeroth, sort of phase diving is to Koresh. And not only will you use them in the outdoor world, but you also use them in the Manaforge Omega Raid. You'll use them in delves, and there's a new delve coming, which I'll mention, and other types of content. So they're incorporating this into quite a bit. So it'll be to our, I think, benefit to get on this and to get this thing and to take it for a spin and see what it looks like. I'm not sure what treasures are coming with it, but it's a different take on something, and I think that that's kind of cool that they're taking this swing. Again, artifacts have left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, but maybe it's worth a shot. Maybe there's, some cool stuff in there. The explanation for phase diving that they have here is enter untethered space by using your Reshi wraps to experience a whole new aspect of Koresh. You'll experience new creatures, objectives, world quests, and some new mechanics, all within the overlay of the world. You can expect to see anything you normally would see in the world, such as treasures, rare creatures, or objects, but there will also be some unique opportunities to be found, such as warrants, which are hunting down monsters, your typical contract kill in the World of Warcraft. But you'll be able to do that in there, and you'll have like this kind of purpley voidy effect, and you'll go into this dreamlike world. So it looks cool. It's something different, and it's worth a shot. As somebody who spends a lot of time in delves and doing open world stuff primarily, it's a unique opportunity to try to expand on what does become a grind. I think after a month or two, especially, of a patch, and you get tired and what's going on, this will present maybe some more opportunities. So hopefully it's fun. Hopefully it's fun, and the opportunities that it presents are fun. Otherwise, it's gonna be like, we're never gonna do this again. Phase diving is garbage. And we just have this upgradable artifact that we have to keep dealing with. So forget all that. But tied to this, the new delve, the Archival Assault, we're gonna go back to the Azura Vaults on the Dragon Isles. There's going to be ethereals. There's going to be ethereal pirates. And there's going to be brokers. We're going to have to kick their asses. Along with Bran. Whatever. By the way, whatever happened to the other companions we were supposed to have? I guess Bran just got screwed out of the deal. He's having to put in a lot of overtime. They also mentioned here that not only will using your Reshi wraps in the delve create new opportunities for you, they mentioned that you may also get a glimpse of your friends within the delve as well, or even / mourn them as you observe their ghost from where they died. So again, trying something different. That could be fun. Me and a homie Rommel, we'll check it out, buddy. We'll get our wraps. Get all wrapped up. Go kick some ass. And of course, new season, new delve, new nemesis. This time around, it'll be Nexus Princess Kaiveza, who you may recall from Nerebar Palace. We did not kill her. And she'll be back, and we'll have a fun encounter with her. I'm sure it'll be crazy. There's going to be shit all over the floor, and I don't know. I'll probably die. Rommel, you have to save me. But it'll be a good time, nonetheless. And last but not least, we have a new a new system called Ecological Succession. We're going to be working with Venari. Remember Venari? Venari. Does anybody remember Shadowland? Or have we just all blocked that out of our mind? I feel like we have. We said, fuck it. We're never going to remember that place ever again or anything that ever happened there. We're going to be working with Venari. We're going to try to bring back some life to her ecodomes on Koresh. And it looks like it's going to have us traveling around Azeroth, trying to capture creatures, bring them back to these ecodomes, and seeing if they'll survive. So I don't know what happens if they don't. Do we recapture them and put them back, or do they just die? I don't know. This is going to be fucked up. Okay, now I'm kind of interested in a way I wasn't expecting before. Oh, God. But it's going to be up to us to help transform the barren ecodome and fill it with life. And this feels like, I don't know. It's kind of like the farm. It's, you know, it's kind of like some sort of pet thing. It could be interesting. I guess it depends on how difficult it is to get these critters in there and like what's involved with it. But the rewards, obviously the rewards. What's the reward going to be? What's that system look like? Or is it just we get another place that we can hang out and it's got animals? And I mean, that's cool and all, but gonna need a hook on that one. It does look kind of fun though. Zapping critters. Oh man. Guess we better be able to put them back. So in a nutshell, that is your 11.2. There is a ton of other stuff within all of that. But in terms of just like getting the information out, this is what we're looking at. You know, typical of a big patch. And there are going to be, like I said, some major lore bombs. And when people say that, they're not joking. Like there's some crazy shit happening. And of course, we'll talk about it in the next episode and kind of react to what we've learned through the questing process, because there are some things happening that nobody would have guessed. Nobody. If I see a Reddit post somewhere or somebody's like, oh, I guess it's like 2 years ago. All right, I'm wrong. But man, I doubt it. So until then, you know, we can continue to do what we're doing now. You can also listen to the audio novella, The Doom of Koresh. It's a 3-part audio story on YouTube, 45 minutes-ish a piece. So you're going to be spending some time there. But then you've also got some alts. Maybe some things going on for some alts. Talk about that a little bit later. But man, I say that a lot today. There's a lot of jumping around on this news because it all kind of ties together, but I don't want to get lost. So work on your alts, listen to your audio novella, get ready for 11.2. But then what? You know, I hate to do that whenever there's a big patch, but then what? Well, Gamescom is what? Gamescom 2025, August 19th. That is when we are going to see the new opening cinematic for World of Warcraft Midnight, and we are going to get the expansion overview. Holly's going to be there. Ian's going to be there. Metzen's going to be there. All the heavy hitters, or at least they're going to be on video. Jez is going to be there. It's going to be a big deal. So the episode after that, obviously we're going to come back and talk about what's coming up for Midnight. So it's going to be some hard-hitting events here in August. August is just going to be, I don't know, this Warcraft time. Super excited to see what that is. It's going to probably be fucked up. We're guessing something Sunwell related, you know, getting corrupted. Someone's going sideways. We've been led to believe that we're going to lose. This is the thing that not everybody. This is something that a lot of people have been asking for a long time is, hey, what if we lose? You know, what are we going to do if we lose? How does that work out? And, well, I think we're going to see. Whatever that opening cinematic is, you know it's going to be great. They're always great. You know, on and on. War Within. I still can't really watch it without feeling a certain kind of way. But Midnight, it's going to be probably dark. It's probably going to be heavy. But we will report on that, and that is something to look forward to. And man, love to hear what your guesses are. Got an idea of what you think we're going to see at that reveal? Hit me up in the comments. Hit up the Discord. Let me know. In the meantime, now, until then, I want to take you back. I want to take you all back. Way back. 2009. 16 years ago. My math serves. Since 2009, I've become a father to a rather large teen now. Started a new career. Been promoted twice. I bought, sold, and moved twice. 2 homes. Almost the entirety of the MCU has happened between now and then. Had 4 presidential elections here in the States. We've had an entire ass pandemic. And in that time, and all those years, there's been one mount above all, that I have wanted in World of Warcraft since it was first announced as a potential reward for those who braved and conquered heroic Icecrown Citadel, the mighty steed known as Invincible. And I have run Icecrown Citadel 25 heroic more times than I can count. I'm sure in my stats it says somewhere that the Lich King has to be the raid boss I've killed the most, and it's not even close, and it's hundreds of times. I mean, I don't know how many times I've gone in there. So as you may know, we've had a collector's bounty. I mentioned earlier about the increased item drops, gear drops from raid bosses. Well, pre-Dragonflight mounts, special mounts, had their drop rates increased theoretically by an additional 5%. So if it was a 1% drop, now it's a 6% drop. If it's a whatever 0.7% drop or whatever it is for the Gloom Charger, it's now, 5.7%. And so I knew the task, I knew the assignment, I knew what I had to do. And so I started running. I have a whole Excel spreadsheet. I'm gonna look at it right here. I'm gonna pull it up. That way I'm completely talking out of my ass. Let's see, what week was this? Okay, this was the second week. Yes, this was the second week because I ran this on my Paladin. There we go. Ran this on my Paladin. Okay. Homie Rommel and I still get together once a week, as often as we can, anyway. And we knew, all right, we had a little bit of time. This was week 2 of the event. Let's do it. Let's run Icecrown Citadel. And at first, I was hesitant. So I wasn't sure how the drop thing worked, and I was like, I don't know. We want a group. And it's like, oh, let's do it. It's the homie Rommel. He's always good luck. He has Invincible already. So if it were to drop, listen, hopefully we can trade and make that work if it did. And so for the first time in probably 15 years, the homie Rommel and I are running through Icecrown Citadel just like days of old. Nostalgia washing over me. Wave after wave. Fought our way up to the top. Did the deed. Survived the RP. And lo and behold, after 16 years, after hundreds of kills, after everything that's happened in our lives and in my life, There he was. And at long last, I have Invincible as a mount. And this might be my forever mount. I have never wanted any other mount this bad in my entire life. This is the one. This is the one. The next day, out of happenstance, Ashes of Alar. The two mounts I have wanted nearly the entire time that I've played World of Warcraft dropped within 16 hours of each other. And it's one of the craziest experiences I've had in all the years I've played this game. Now, my total thus far, I don't have many. I've run a lot of dungeons and a lot of raids over the last month. I've spent a shit ton of time on as many characters as I could. Right now, I only have 4 new acquisitions, with Invincible being one, Ashes of Alar, the Corcoran Juggernaut, and the Swift Zulian Panther. Fucking Adaman the Huntsman will not give up either version of Midnight for me. It's driving me crazy. I've run that so many freaking times on both versions of Karazhan, and I just can't get it. Same with Scotty the Ruthless and that Blue Drake. Just will not drop the thing. Did try to get a few others. Just hasn't quite worked out. The Gloom Charger being one that unfortunately I can only run on one character. And Berserker just didn't get it. So when this drops on Monday, today's the last day. If you listen to this on Monday, today's the last day. So whatever you got to run it now. Try to get those last runs in before it goes off, I think Tuesday morning at like 8 a.m. But what an incredible event. What an incredible event. I'm so glad that they did this. And you know what? Yeah, there's going to be some mounts that are maybe a little less rare. Yeah, you're going to see some more Invincibles, some more Ashes of Alar, some more whatevers. It's okay. Be okay with it. Like, you still have to put in the time. It's still a pretty low drop rate. I'm shocked that I even got what I did. I hope that they do this again. Once a year, maybe they throw this open during times when it's kind of slow or you're waiting for something. Because I guarantee you, I put in more time than I have in a long time, like I said, and I bet I'm not the only one, and I'm sure they have the data to back that up. So, very popular event. I loved it. Hopefully, you all got what you've been going for. Maybe Invincible is your thing. Maybe Midnight's Reigns was your thing. Maybe something from Gul'dan was your thing. Maybe you wanted to get your Warglaves of Azzinoth from Illidan. Whatever it is, hopefully it treated you well, and hopefully it comes back. During this time, I also mentioned that the Winds of Mysterious Fortune are back, so you're getting 20% additional XP, 200% rep in Dragonflight zones, and 100% rep in the War Within zones, in addition to what you're getting. And all of that is happening till August 12th. So you'll actually have a week into the new patch to continue to get that rep up and get those alts going if that is your thing. So really a lot going on right now, which is kind of crazy to me. And on top of that, you also have the Greedy Emissary. So if you've been going around once an hour, Stormwind, Orgrimmar, and Dornogal right outside, you have a portal open. You know, a little Diablo loot goblin comes out there, you wail on him, and maybe you get Inarius' Charger, which is a cool knockoff of recolor of an older mount that we had back in the Diablo 3 launch days. There's a little, demonic goat pet. There's a few other things. But the big thing, right, was the recolors of the tier 2 sets. I did get the warrior set. I did get the, what is a new Death Knight set, because didn't have those back in tier 2. Really phenomenally well done, sort of, upscaled versions and recolors. I love the warrior one, which I think I've mentioned before. Probably need to get the paladin one. This is also going on the way at the same time as the collector's bounty. So if you're listening to this Monday on the hour, hit it. And you got enough to at least get a couple few more armor sets if you're looking for them. But I got the ones I wanted. And yes, the Death Knight is already rocking that set because it's great. It's black, it's got skulls, and it's got fire, and everything you want a Death Knight to be. Good shit. So, a lot going on right now. A lot to keep you busy. A lot to keep you going during your summer. Hope you got what you wanted. I pretty much got everything I wanted. So, good stuff. We also have, had dropped on us recently, post about WoW housing and neighborhoods. All right, so kind of shifting gears a little bit. We know that in Midnight, or at least the pre-patch or somewhere close to it, housing is coming, and talked at length about how this thing is just massive. The detail, the options, the scope, it's mind-boggling, to be quite honest. One of the things that we've been wondering, how are the neighborhoods going to work? I've been saying it time and time again that certain plots are going to be more desirable than others. People are going to, if there is a choice between who gets which plot, people are going to fight over this stuff. Now, they claim again and again that this is going to be seamless and people are going to get what they want, and I hope so, because based on what they're showing, people are going to have some strong feelings about which ones they want. So, for instance, they mentioned how some houses will be kind of closer towards this, like, the hub of the neighborhood. So, a little more populated, a little closer together. And then there are going to be others, like for some of us, they're maybe a little more hermit in nature, where you're maybe a little further away. Maybe there's a little more space between you and the next person. For the Alliance, we're looking at a place called Founders Point. That's our neighborhood, or say that as an Alliance member. And Razorwind Shores for the Horde. 50 plots roughly per neighborhood, and they've talked about how there's going to be servers that are going to be able to, the way that the server tech works, you'll be able to split things up and make sure that if you're in a guild, everybody's going to get a spot in the guild joint, even though it'll kind of be layered in a way. But the ones that they showed for the Alliance, the Founders Point, one of the things I've been wondering is, okay, where's it going to go? And I think it kind of figured it was going to be on that sort of southern mountainous edge along Stormwind. But the way that they're showing this to me looks like, at least on the Alliance side, and the Horde folks, you'll have to tell me more about your own, is it's going to encompass sort of the southwestern corner of Elwyn, the northeastern corner of Westfall, and sort of the eastern or northeastern end of Duskwood. So you're going to have that triumvirate right in there, because the pictures that they showed, one clearly looks Westfall-ish, one clearly looks Duskwood-ish, and then the other one is like on the edge of a waterfall in Elwyn, and people are going to fight. I don't know how people aren't going to fight over this. I want that. That looks awesome, to be able to just stand out and have this great view right out of your Warcraft house. I mean, you may not be able to get that in real life, but if you can get that in Warcraft, oh man, guilds are going to break up over the neighborhood, I'm telling you right now. But it was a really cool insight, a really cool look into how these things are kind of going to be built. And they mentioned there's public neighborhoods, private neighborhoods. Public is, you join up. Now they're going to be on whatever server, and if you want to join up, you can get in a public neighborhood. Seems like the naming will be done automatically if you're on one of those, and the game will just kind of create more instances of these things. If you'll recall, these are instanced neighborhoods. They'll create more as needed. For private neighborhoods, there's going to be guilds or charter neighborhoods. These will likely have a minimum number, although I don't think that they said what the minimum number of players, not characters, is going to be. But you'll have the ability to invite, disinvite, kick people out, whatever. So if you're in a guild or a charter, it looks like you'll have some control over, people being cool about what's going on. Questions being asked. What happens if I don't like my neighbors? You know that this is going to come up. That's what I'm saying. And what if I don't like my neighborhood? Well, it's going to give you the option to essentially relinquish the house that you have, pack up all of your stuff, and then you can purchase a new place somewhere else. You'll also have a period of time. It's like a regret timer. So if you change your mind, you can go back. So it looks like the house will be kind of like frozen and then freed up if you pass that threshold. And then when you buy a place, your old house will go back up for sale, as it says, and then like your new place will just kind of be unpacked. Another question being, can people just walk into my yard, into my house? You'll have ultimate control over who can come into your space, and you can change it at any time. You can let in friends and guildmates or nobody. And I'll probably let about 3 people into mine. I'll tell you right now, it's going to be a very tight guest list. People tromping around, but probably not till I'm done. And this is going to take forever. I swear to God, this housing thing. I see. If you're listening, I see it now. I didn't see it. I didn't understand it. Maybe it's because it's the way WoW's doing it, but this is crazy, man. I'm gonna be lost. If the houses can get as big as they claim, or people seem to have figured out, this is madness. People are gonna be lost in there. It's wild. On top of all this stuff, anyway, there's going to be something called Endeavors. And Endeavors will be these kind of like neighborhood activities that you can do to help what is going to be essentially a renown track for housing called Neighborhood Favor. And as you complete tasks and fill this stuff up, you'll get rewards. The example that they gave here for their level 7 is increased decor limit. Be interesting to see how big these limits get. A Belemeth wooden table, so something you put in the house. Scarlet Throne, another thing, and a Blight Fire Lantern. So kind of covering a variety of aesthetics there. But yeah, that's what essentially they wanted to let us know is you'll have some control up to a point of a neighborhood, depending on how you do it. It seems like if you want a certain place, you'll be able to get it as long as there's a new neighborhood that's been opened. Again, I got to see how this works. I don't know how you can secure if you really have your heart set on a place. I honestly, I'm speaking for myself. I know that once I see the layout or the map or the plan, I'm going to go, this is the one I want. Or these are like the 2. And it's going to have to happen, or I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. Oh, it's going to be interesting. But overall, people seem to be really happy about this. People seem to be thrilled that, it's so robust, and you're going to have just this great vibe to everything that's going on. And I can't wait to see it. It's now we're getting to the point where we've been shown a lot. They've talked about it a bunch. I got to get my hands on the thing. I got to start building my, my rooms or my alcoves. I haven't quite decided. It's either going to be like every expansion. Now that I think about it, maybe what I'll do is each expansion will have its own room, and then within that room there'll be like an alcove for each like raid that I did, or armor set, or weapons rack, or something. You see why this is gonna take fucking forever to do? That's how I'm thinking about things. There's got to be like a not a Hall of Fame, but like a armory, or something to show what we've done over time. But it also depends, I guess, on what's available. But anyway, everybody seems to be, for the most part, pretty thrilled with what we've got. And we've got to get our hands on it for too long, because you can only tease for so long. Then we got to get it going. So that's your wrap up for what's been going on news wise. There is a trading post. We're like right at the end of the month. I'm just gonna say that it's way too Undercity for me, but if that's your jam, good luck to you. So before we go, of course, we got to get to it. Our Q&A. Q&A. All right. Finish out this episode. We've got 3 questions. All 3 coming from our Discord, which if you haven't joined our Discord, please do. That's the best way to communicate with me, with the community, wherever you got. So first up, from Shatvan. Ooh, man, Shatvan. Need to hear about that name. How did you come up with that name? Was it a shitty van? Did you shit in a van? Like, man, this is a shat van. You know, like a Vanagon. Anyway, question: with player housing, are those of us with small, less than 5-player guilds just screwed? And will we be forced to just put our homes in public areas? That's a great question. I understand why you would make a guild that small. I truly do. I also can understand why, with the tech involved, they would not want to have that much dedicated to a smaller group of people, if you follow what I'm saying. So, will you be forced to either like add a couple people or do something in public? You probably will. You probably will. I don't know. Maybe you can make some fake accounts and add some people to your guild charter and artificially inflate your charter. Maybe that's the answer. Like the old days, you know, trying to start a guild and you bribe people and pay them a gold to sign your charter, and then as soon as it got signed, you kicked everybody out. So, like, I know I have a couple of bank alts that's what I did. I just created guilds just for them, and then I kicked everybody else out. So I have all of that. I don't know. I guess it served a purpose at one time, but yeah, maybe try to goose the system in some way. Bribe a couple people just to, you know, help create some fake accounts, do a trial run of Warcraft, and I don't know, get them to sign up. I don't know. Maybe there's rules about not being able to put a trial in a guild. Maybe they thought of this, but yeah, you probably will have some challenges there. So my heart goes out to you, because I understand the need to want to have a small group. But when it goes live, let's see what the minimum number is, and then, you know, I'm curious, Chat Van, how did you solve this once it came live? Next up from Allie, how do you feel about our final boss of the expansion? Is that what you expected before the announcement of 11.2? No, Allie, I did not expect that. Like I said, I thought we were going to be fighting Xal'atath to the end. This was the big bad that, you know, it was going to be, you know, round 1 is left foot, round 2 is right foot, some kind of thing. Like, I fully anticipated that we were going to be fighting her the entire time. So yeah, swerving us on the story and making her part of our team on the stage of the game. Yeah, I am surprised. Now, does it make sense to have a giant ass Dimensius as big as Stormwind? Yeah, sure. Why not? Makes sense. It's epic, which is what you want. You know, you want epic final battles. That's what the end boss of a final patch in an expansion should be. It should be big shit. Kind of depends on how that plays out. In theory and in concept, it's awesome. Like, I wouldn't have thought we were going to fight a city-sized boss. That's badass. You know, we got a movie right now with a giant dude, Galactus, walking around, right? So it's in vogue. We'll have to see how the execution of it is, but in concept and in theory, I dig it. I like it. I think it's cool. It looks awesome. If it's the Dark Heart in there and it's powering him and he's doing crazy voidy shit, it could be cool. I'm going to see it in story mode, so I'm probably going to feel a lot more positive about the experience maybe than some of the hardcore raiders out there. But I like it. I'm happy with that choice, at least at the moment, so we will see. Last question from Brother Navox. Will the big sword turn into a Void Lord, but with legs? Going to assume that this is a Ragnaros callback. Maybe. But the conclusion of the big sword, that sword, what sword saga, you know, the conclusion to all of that, it's coming. Whatever it is, it's coming. Is it Dimensius floating over and pulling the thing out? Maybe. Is it, is it Azeroth pulling it out of herself, as I think Allie might have suggested in our Discord? Maybe. They've got to do something with it. I believe Metzen, in his interview some time ago with Mr. Instance, I think he indicated that Illidan might have something to do with it. So I'm not sure where that falls in with the story right now. But it does feel like it's going to be just a little bit. So I don't know that it's going to turn into a Void Lord, but could it become sentient? Why not? Why not? We've seen all kinds of crazy crap. We got a sword, Remornia, right? Remornia's alive somewhere. Where's that? So sentient weapons is not a foreign concept to us. So could it turn into it? Yeah. Will it? I don't know. I'll say that a giant, souped up, Titan powered version of Illidan comes back from the cosmos, pulls it out, and then wields it to fight the gods of some kind, and then has a final battle in Ulduar in the last Titan, and then is, I don't know, some sort of self-sacrifice. All of Ulduar is destroyed, and then the sword goes like flinging off into space like Unicron's head. There you go. That's what I'm gonna put down. So, but listen, if you've got theories out there about what eventually is going to happen to that sword, I'd love to hear them. All right. I think we've done enough damage for one episode. My thanks to all of you for continuing to listen to this ramshackle little program. And remember, you can always follow me and the show on Twitter at Berserker Rage and Unshackled Fury. Unshackled_Fury. On Blue Sky at Berserker and Unshackled Fury, as well as on Twitch at Unshackled Fury and Real Berserker. You can also join our Discord, links for which are in the profile of the show on Twitter and on our website, unshackledfury.com. Feel free to contact the show with your questions, comments, or otherwise through any of those resources, or email us at unshackledfuryshow@gmail.com. And you can find this show wherever you get your podcasts. So once again, thank you for listening. Remember to keep your swords wet and your banners high, and we'll see you next time. Farewell.